The channel of RD Automation Learning. So in this video, we'll be discussing one of the behavioral type of question with you. And at times you might get this question in the managerial round or in the client interview as well. That this is generally being asked in the automation testing roles. People who are hired for the automation testing, right? For the test automation, they might get this kind of a question in the interview, in the client side interview, that you are hired for automation, but would you do manual testing? Now, there are 4 to 5 scenarios which we need to address here, and we need to answer accordingly. Okay. So let me give you the various perceptions behind asking this answer. So first scenario we will see, that is, you are purely into the test automation role, right? The job description that they have shared with you is purely of a test automation. And if they are asking you that would you be doing manual testing for the time being, that is for the temporary purpose. They are not asking you to do it on a very long-term role or on a very uh, forever purpose, right? It's a very temporary thing that they might ask you. So you can tell yes, right? Because see, they are not asking you to do it for a permanent basis. It is something that you are hired for the automation, but would you do manual testing? At times, what happens is, maybe before you are testing the user stories, you might have to test the functionality is working fine in that environment, and then you would start to automate it, right? At times, you might see that. At times, it might also happen that someone might be on a leave in your team, and then you have to take up that task. So you cannot say no at that time, right? So at that time, you should say yes. The second scenario here can be that they are telling you that you are hired for automation, but the role would be forever for manual testing, right? Forever for manual testing. Then at times, then during this time, you have to tell no, because you are hired for automation. So maybe you might be working here for 2 years, for 1.5 year, and at that time you don't if you continue to work in a manual testing for 1.5 year, then it's a waste of your skill set, and you'll lose your hands-on experience also will go away on automation. So you can say no, right? Even it's fine if based on this answer you might get rejected as well. Okay, because that's why this no is a very no is one of the answer that you need to give it very consciously. You have to think and answer. Okay. And then you can also have a cross question to them. You can politely very ask to them, is it really like that? Right? You can just check with them that are they looking forward for a manual testers only, or it is just a question that he's putting up in an interview, right? So those kind of clarification you can seek in an interview. But the answer for this is no. Okay. Now, the next scenario is, this is your scenario 3. Okay. And he's telling 70% of automation, 30% of manual testing or functional testing. Then your answer should be yes. That's totally fine, right? It's totally fine, because in a client interview in the service-based company, you are there, and it is possible that it can be this kind of a breakup can be there, right? No one can predict that you would be doing 100% of automation or 100% of fully into the automation only, right? That prediction no one can take, especially it's a service based of company, right? So that's the thing. The one more scenario here can be that he's telling for initial 3 months you do manual, and then later on you will be switched to automation. Okay. Now here is what happens is, in most of the companies, people do tell yes. Okay. So here your answer should be yes, but you need some kind of a confirmation. So you have to get this thing in return from them, that as of now you are telling that I would be doing manual testing for 3 months, but I want some assurance. I want some guarantee that after 3 months I would be taken to the automation. Because in the service-based companies, most of the times it happens that people do get hired for automation, but they start doing manual testing. And then later on, once you get hired into the company, no one would be addressing this particular concern of yours. And they'll be thinking yes, you have accepted the offer. It is like that. It was discussed during the client interview. It was discussed during the manager round. This was already asked to you. So you can tell them that you need some kind of a confirmation. Again, this is not getting arrogant here. There's nothing wrong here, but you are just trying to seek some clarification since you are joining that company, since you are joining that organization, and then you are looking forward to that particular role, right? Then the answer should be yes. Now, the last scenario is an exceptional case. Okay, why it's an exceptional case? Let's say you have been laid off recently from some X company. Okay, and you are really looking for a job opportunity right now. Can be anything. Let it be automation, let it be manual, because there might be some EMI going on, there might be some loans you would have taken, and you have got a good source of income from this particular job opportunities. But as of now, you are being laid off. Then what should be your answer? Then your answer should be yes. Right. So these kind of questions are asked in the managerial round, in the client round, and as of now, I have seen people getting rejected, getting confused when they are asked these kind of things, and then they book the calls on Topmate with me, and they try to figure out the question, try to figure out the solution for this particular situation. But the solution is to seek the clarification when you are in an interview, right? You are giving an interview, and it's a Q&A going on over there. You are not given the offer letter. At the same time, it is the situation is you're not having any job as well. So the answer would be varying based on the various situations that you are getting this kind of a question. Okay, it's a client interview. When will the client interview happen? So this client interview would be happening when you would have cleared one or two technical rounds, one managerial round also you might would have cleared. That is why they have shortlisted you. That is why they have put you before the client for their questions, right? So it becomes very important that you think and you answer, right? Don't give answers without any proper thinking. You should approach these particular questions in this manner, and then only you should give the answer. If you are really looking for a job opportunity, then you tell yes at that time, because you are being laid off, you don't have any other offer. If you have multiple offers, then you can ask them, seek some more clarification, right? It becomes very important that you get some clarity before joining the company, and don't assume anything, right? It's very important. You should not assume anything. You should get some full 100% clarification from them. Once you are convinced with their answers, then and then only you should go further, right? So this was a very important question I wanted to discuss with you. In the client interviews, people are getting these kind of questions and they might get confused, right? And at times people do believe that I have cleared 3 rounds. Let me get the offer letter first. But it is important that you give the answers properly. Later on, it should not be a surprise. There should not be any surprise element that is hidden after you get hired. So it becomes very important that you keep some transparency. Also, you ask them to keep some transparency. Now, how can you tell them? You cannot tell to the client that be transparent with me. You cross question 2 or 3 questions, right? You ask them 2 or 3 cross questions. So you will come to know automatically what is going on in their mind. If it's just a question, or if it's really a project being like that, you can ask, is the project really need the manual testers at first stage and then the automation, or is there this kind of a requirement in the project itself? So accordingly you can give your answers, right? So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching this video, and stay tuned for more updates.